Yes, guys, welcome back to another pregame show on Soccer Perspective. Specifically today, it is Wales versus England in the FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar. I hope it's going to be an interesting one. It will be indeed because this is more like a derby than just a game of football. It's more than just a game of football, and we hope to see a very good game today. And already I have Roger with me in the house. Roger, I hope you can hear me. If you can, how are you doing? It's been a minute. It's been a while, if we're being honest.
Hola, senor. How are you, sir?
Fine, fine. I can't complain. I'm back and stronger and then ready to go again.
Good to
Back
hear,
at it
Coach. I'm
again. So
serious.
back to back and back to back, back to back to back. It's gonna be
Good to see you, sir. Really is.
good to see you too, brother. Again, I appreciate you finding time to join on the panel. And already, as usual, we have Leon Lane in the house. This is again. Good afternoon, evening, coach and panel. Sent to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Lala, a friend of mine. Good afternoon, coach, a panel, chat, and Liam. How are you doing, Lala? I hope you're doing well. Um, Roger, straight away, are you looking forward to this one? And again, probably you've seen more again football matches between the two nations. I'm gonna get again hear from you. What type of game should we be looking forward to or expecting if again if that's better understood?
Yeah, so you asked me, am I looking forward to it? I will answer that question with a question. Is the Pope
Mm.
Catholic? Yeah, very much so. Very much so, sir. Traditionally, in United Kingdom, when like England, Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland play each other, they're called home nations games or home games. And
Hmm.
they're like a derby, like a London derby. They're intense. You have to throw out their respective records, because I've seen England in the 70s play where they were really good and they would be beaten by Scotland, who were, with all due respect, not very good. With regards to world rankings and making the playoffs or making the World Cup finals, etc. So you just throw out everyone's record, and it's quite physical. They tackles, they go in hard. It's yeah, it's a wonderful, and I'm really sad. I think Bobby and I talked about it before. Kind of disappointed that they stopped the home because they used to play every year each other, but they stopped that 20 or so years ago, maybe more. So this will be good. This is, I think, the first time England's played Wales, if I'm not mistaken, in a World Cup. So it'll be. Listen, I'm not sure. I know Wales have gone to a back four. I just saw
Hmm.
that, but they're gonna, what we would say, stick the boot in. They're gonna go in for a physical game. I'm not sure whether they have the legs, though. Don't get me wrong. On any given day, anyone can beat anyone, but I'm surprised they've gone to a back four, but they want to match us. So I think it's going to be tactical in that regard. It may be even boring. I can see. I'm glad Foden's in. I'm really pleased about that. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised that on number 9 is starting yet again. He looks so tired. Um, I wouldn't have started him, but yeah, and I'm really glad Walker's playing. This is going to be a really good matchup, but I'd be so shocked if England doesn't win this.
Yeah, and looking at the table, you could say it's a must-win game for England. They have just 4 points. Iran has 3 points, which means if Iran beats US, they have 6 points. So yeah,
I'm going to be watching both
even
games
Wales still has a
simultaneously.
chance to qualify.
Yeah, they do. If they beat England by 4 goals, a margin of 4, and if I believe if Iran and the US draw, I think Wales are in. If
Yeah,
I'm
so
not mistaken.
it's a very very tight group, really.
Yeah, they got
But
something to play for. They do.
mhm.
Is it realistic? Not really, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
If we
we'll
get
see.
a,
We'll
if we
see.
get
So
a,
again, it is the World Cup. Four
yeah,
points could be enough again.
and all it takes is like one rash challenge. We get a man sent off. Anything can happen.
Hmm.
So should never say never, as they say. It's going to be a good game. Actually,
Yeah, I
I've
think
watched
you can say all the games in this group today will be all again are good games because
intense. Yeah,
yeah, for
I've
every team
watched.
it's a must-win game. Every team, no matter how difficult it may be, they still have a chance to qualify. All the teams
Sure,
in the group.
Coach.
All
I've
right.
watched every game in the World Cup so far,
Mhm.
and I'm telling you, it's been some really good matches. Especially that South Korea Ghana game. That was
Oh
the
yeah,
best
lots of
game.
goals.
I was no, but not just that. Listen, I'm a neutral. I was on the edge of my seat. It was amazing, and the atmosphere, the tension. Also, the Germany Spain game is good. I hope this is not going to be boring and tactical. I hope it's exciting. I really do. I think the Iran US is going to be really good. I think that could be that has a lot of geopolitical um,
Hmm.
issues regarding it or surrounding it also, but who knows? I'm not sure which team has more pressure on that game either. I think England doesn't have that much pressure. I don't think the shirt is that heavy for us because of we have 4 points. As much as people criticize Southgate for playing against the US, but look, he knew it was quite obvious that things weren't going well, and you know what? He played to draw, hence putting Henderson on. It's
Do,
all
do you
about
think?
point.
Okay, yeah, that's towards the end of the game, really.
Yeah, well, 20 minutes left or so, but he could tell. It's like we looked leggy, and so I've seen reports from quite a few people from different stations saying even though there's air conditioning, it's still
Mhm.
very humid, and so I'm a bit worried about England's fitness because they looked leggy.
Yeah, just quickly let me catch up with the chat, then we'll start
Sure.
looking at the lineup of proper. Here we have again, hello to you too, Lala. Thank you so much for finding the time to join. And here Lala says again, Spain will finish first in their group. Yeah, I thought again that's something I knew would happen before time, but I didn't expect them to drop a point against Germany. I expected them to win. My prediction was that they were going to top the table and they were going to again clinch all three points from all their games and have 9 points, but that didn't happen. Is England again a favorite? They're doing a very good matches as a solid block, and I personally think they will go far. Um,
I don't know.
I'm not sure about going far,
Yeah.
but I think they will do well. They'll do well. I don't know how far they'll go.
I think they'll go quite far back to England.
Maybe they'll surprise us, but you
Yeah,
never know.
you never know, sir.
Again, I don't trust Southgate tactically. He has the tools to be again the most fair team in the World Cup, but again, tactically, I don't think it's good enough. He
I think the
surprised
squad,
people.
coach.
Sorry.
I think the England squad is deep. I think it's one of the deepest, maybe top three in the whole World Cup.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
very deep.
yeah,
So on paper, on
but
paper.
they're not playing. The way they play doesn't reflect how much talent they have in the group, really.
Well, I'm surprised he's playing with the back four today. A lot of people thought he would go with the back three to start playing in the play, assuming that they advance to then start playing with the back three.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It'd be very interesting, assuming England advances. Be interesting to see does he continue with the back four, back three. Yeah, because I thought when we did our collaboration, I picked a back four, but that was only in these stages. I thought in the latter stages he would play with a back three, if you recall. So
Yeah. Yeah, again, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the video, we don't have too many people watching, but I still believe that will improve because we haven't streamed for a while. And I did not promote this very well, but that's not a problem at all. Again, we
shame on
have
you.
fun. Sorry?
Shame on you.
Yeah, exactly. Lala, again, thank you so much for finding time to join. And my brother, Liam Lane, says again, I will watch the USA versus Iran game. I think it will be the better game. And you could say, it would be a much again on paper. You can see the more balance of the two games. It will most likely be the more balance of the two games. But
Probably.
yeah, but you never know.
But this is a
Iran, like I
derby.
said, I wasn't surprised that they beat what team was that again?
Wales.
Wales 2-0. Again, if you follow
Yes.
their history, usually they don't start the World Cup well. But again, even in their worst outing, they do what they have is the fighting spirit. Again, Especially against the United States, it's more than just football. No matter how everybody sees it, yes, before the game, players do shake hands, and then at the end of the game, players do shake hands. Well, really, we all know it's more than just that. But that's, by the way, let's get into looking at the lineup here. I'll watch them both. I'll try to open them both on the same screen and be following them both. I may well do a watch along if I get anybody to stay with me. If not, I'll just again call it a day and then schedule the show for tomorrow and the next one. So here's the lineup. Like you said, it's a 4-2-3-1 with Pickford in goal, Stones and Maguire centrally, Shaw on the left hand side, Walker. Oh, Walker recovers. Yeah. But actually, if you ask me seriously, I prefer again Trippier over Walker, but that's me. The two central again in the central midfield area, we have
Really?
Henderson, we have Rice. Yeah, I'm serious. Then Bellingham, this is a 10, really. What do you think, Roger? In this position, isn't he the 10 there?
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. The BBC has the formation as a 4-3-3 with Henderson, Rice, and Bellingham. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're
so
right.
you're saying it's not this structure, really?
Well, it could be. It could also be just Rice and Henderson with Bellingham playing as a number 10. He's personally, I think him, Foden, and Bellingham and Foden could play a number 10 quite easily. But Bellingham
given the three players we're looking at there, the most suitable player to play in the 10 role, you could say, is Foden.
But Southgate says he doesn't play with his club, so he doesn't play him there, which I'm perplexed. I think Foden would suit the number 10. If he was, let's say right now he had a Spanish passport, they would probably put him in the number 10 position. Same with if he had a German passport or I was about to say Italian. Whoops. But you know where I'm going with that, you know? I think most people would play him in the number 10.
So why do you think Mount jumped again? Mount is on the bench for this one. He's not starting. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think you've got to have fresh legs. I'm so pleased Rashford and Foden are starting, and also and Mount is rested. You can't play. But I'm really shocked that our number 9 is Kane is playing. I'm disappointed about that. I think he needs to rest. He looks shattered. But yeah, I like the lineup. I'm surprised, I didn't want Rice to play, to be honest with you, because we can't afford to lose him in an injury. And same with Shaw, because Shaw's already naturally left-footed, person for a left back. So I was hoping.
Yeah, but who else comes in? Who comes in place of Shaw?
Trippier. He's played there before.
So you say Trippier can play both on the right and on the left?
He's done it multiple times. So I was hoping Trippier would start there, but it's a decent, it's a decent squad. I'm actually surprised Stones is playing also. I thought maybe they would give Dyer a chance, but it's good though. That I think Stones and Maguire make a good, solid backup central wise. It's going to be interesting. I think Bellingham does play the number 10. I can't see him as a 4-3-3. I think it is a 4-2-3-1 personally.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this is correct, given Bellingham that's playing centrally here in the 3 behind the striker. It doesn't make any sort of sense. I want to look at, again, I'm not sure, again, I want us to look at Mount's numbers in a bit to see how well he did in the 2 previous games. Maybe that has something to do.
I didn't look at it. I've heard people say he played well. I've heard people, and I'm talking about TV pundits in Britain, and people have said he's played poorly. So I don't know. He had a shot on target.
I don't think he's done quite well, really.
You do or do not? I'm sorry. You think he's been poor?
Forget about the run-ins, the running he does. Again, that you get that industry from him anytime, any day, even when it's mentally tired.
But that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at Foden, he doesn't track back. Foden is a superior player, don't get me wrong. But when there is a transition, you need someone to track back. You can say, well, everyone does it. No, they don't. You have a look at Eden Hazard. He doesn't track back. You look at Foden; he seldom tracks back.
Yeah, I
You know,
understand that.
you
Let's
don't
let's look at
appreciate
let's look
you
at
don't
Mount's.
appreciate it. You don't
Mhm.
appreciate his industry until you see someone in their place that doesn't do that, that leads to conceding a goal. That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not a, I don't have an agenda here. I'm just saying, he does a lot more off the ball than he does with the ball, and I think that every team needs that. That's my point, sir.
Yeah, let's
Does
look
that
at
make
Mount's
sense?
numbers in the game again against US. Again, where is he? He was here, the 10th position, 6.2, one of the least rated players here. Let's look at his numbers here. Chances created, zero. So
Yeah.
probably all he did was the running. And a lot of people are saying he was important. Really, he's been. Expected goals 0.09, expected goals on target 0.15, expected assist 0.02, shot accuracy 1 out of 250%, touches 45, successful dribbles, okay. Passes into the final third, two, even though he literally lived that. So probably his output on the day was just his running. Tackles one out of one, recoveries one, ground duels one, 3 out of 8. Holy tamale. So he was poor in this game, really.
Yeah, but at least
Um,
listen, because you're playing the third youngest team in the finals, which is the US, yes, and so you needed someone to chase them down. Do you understand? You
but
need
is
that.
that really good? I think he's capable of doing more than just run on the pitch. And that has gradually become a stereotype for Mount. And it's
Yeah,
not helping him because it just looks like every manager accommodates him only because of the amount of running, his hard work, again,
sure,
his work, the amount of work
I,
he puts in whenever he's on the pitch, and that
I
has
can,
become a problem. So because that way, even when he's tired, when he's mentally tired, they keep playing him,
I
and
concede
that's
that, but I need to tell you something though. You have a look at like Sterling. I watched Sterling. I've seen the game twice, by the way. I listened to the US Fox broadcast and I listened to the ITV, which is another channel in England like BBC ITV. And Sterling, his tracking back was inconsequential. It was negligible. If you look at Matt and then you look at Henderson when he came on, you look at them, they were running because you have to put pressure, you have to press. It's you don't appreciate someone's industry until they're either replaced with a Foden or whomever, and you'll see that won't transpire. Then you will see the difference. That's
yeah.
when you
Here's my argument.
appreciate
I'm not
it.
saying it is anything wrong with this industry. I'm just saying, to me, my observation is that it's become a problem for him. And that's one of the reasons why even the fan base don't recognize what he's capable of doing. Do I think he's the best player at Chelsea? No. But I just
No.
think he can be doing better than he's doing. But the stereotype is killing him, really. It just
So,
doesn't
so,
make
so
sense.
if he pressed less, then and he reduces his industry, you think that would maybe
No, I'm not saying he should reduce it. My blame actually goes to the managers, really.
okay?
Yeah. I think they're stereotyping him. He's not a road runner, for Christ's sake.
Roadrunner.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I hear you.
You get my point, but that stereotype is killing him. And again, but I don't know what else to say. I can't change any of those things. Again, that's a big shake up of Southgate to make it again. Southgate to it's not like him. Yeah, surprisingly, again, unlike him. Usually, he's so again loyal to players, like Roger would put it. That sometimes he doesn't even change the worst players on the day. But in the case of Raheem Sterling, you could argue he's probably on the bench because he's been poor. Really, did he start the last game?
Yes, he played the first two games, and
Let's look at it again.
so did Mount.
68 minutes. At least he took him off early, but he was one of the again lowest rated. There, 64.
He was poor, very poor.
Yeah, and if you see the amount of again the work, the rating for the defenders, that shows you how well the US played because the US on the side on the English side got the better rating. The defenders on the English side got the better rating than even the midfielders and the attackers. That shows you how badly they were.
You know
And
what? I'm not
Southgate
being
had no answers. Go ahead.
sure. I'm not being pro-English here, but whenever England plays, I'm rather apprehensive and nervous. But I'm going to say something, and please
Mhm.
don't please don't take this the wrong way. But
No, you know me, I don't.
no,
I'm
no.
not like that.
But what I'm about to say is, I really didn't feel at any moment in time that England would concede a goal, especially aerially. Aerially, England dominated. I can't remember US winning an aerial battle throughout the whole game. Which I'm shocked because the US has some fine physical specimens. I think the US are great athletes. I just don't think they're technically gifted, and they're very young. I mean, so that's a huge factor. Also, does that make sense? You know,
Yeah, it
I mean,
does.
like the captain is only 23, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I mean, not that ages of experience does matter in certain times. You know, I honestly didn't feel. I thought we actually. You have a look at the one shot on target America had with against England, and it was a deflection, and our goalkeeper, it was like a back pass. But at least we tested. You know, you blocked a shot from. When I say you, I'm talking about one of the defenders from the US blocked a Kane shot that could have easily gone in the first like 10 minutes, and then at least Mount, you know, tested the keeper. I know what's his name? Pulisic hit the bar, but if you look at it, he's literally our keeper's gloves were literally millimeters away from it. So had it been anything lower, i.e., been on target, it would have been covered. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, but forget the analysis whether it would have been covered or not. Let me get this. Are you trying to say that the England played well on the day?
No, I thought they looked fatigued. They looked leggy, wouldn't you say? I thought they looked leggy. I thought they looked, but you know, at no point in time did I feel, because of the lack of clinical players America has, at no point in time did I feel England would lose that game. And that's very unlike me. If you know me, that's why I don't do watch longs, because I'm nervous. I don't bite my nails, but I'm a nervous, apprehensive individual. You know, when I watch Chelsea, I'm always the same when I watch England. And I just feel America brought energy, they brought pace, they brought grit, which is their MO fundamentally. But
again, the whole thing was down. How poorly England played against the United States comes down to how well Adams did in the midfield for the United States.
No. I'm not taking that away. I thought America ran the midfield for a lot of the time, but aerially.
But that shocked me, given that again the England had Rice and Bellingham, and Adams in a single pivot as a single six dealt with them.
I think there's a combination of things. I think England were flat, they were leggy. I think they may have taken the US for granted also, which I hope they didn't, because that's arrogant if they did that. But they didn't show up. You know, like you hear the expression in the NFL, I just didn't show up today. And it was quite obvious. They didn't seem like they had their A game. They weren't crisp. They weren't, even when they weren't pressed, they were making errors. I just thought maybe, I don't know, maybe they were tired. Maybe they shouldn't have actually played the same team. I think it was exactly the same squad that played in the first game against Iran. So I think maybe he should have changed it up a bit. I really do, because I wasn't impressed with England.
He had no answer, and at one point, like you said, he made a change which showed he's resigned to getting a draw, and that was surprising to me. But that's by the way, because on paper, the truth remains, on paper that game shouldn't even be close.
No, I agree with you, but this sport, unlike the NFL and most other sports, you can be, as I said, when Liverpool played Burnley, they had 82% of possession, and they were amazing. It was about 3-4 years ago, and they lost 2-0. You know, and Burnley was down the table. This is a game that you can never predict who's going to win, regardless of quote unquote on paper. It's I am actually. You know, I have mixed feelings about the England squad. I think the shirt is heavy for a lot of these players, historically anyway. I'm not so sure about this squad. As much criticism as Southgate should receive about his how shall we say this, his acumen, his tactical acumen or lack thereof. I understand that. He's often criticized for reacting, especially with substitutes, 5 to 10 minutes too late. Like on the 70th minute, he 68th, whatever you want to call it, started making substitutes. A lot of critics were saying you should have done that between 55 and 60. Do you understand? Or even at half time, some people were saying. But you have to understand one thing. If you have a look at Germany, look at Argentina, they lost games to teams on paper they should never have lost. If you have a look in Southgate's tenure in majors, when I say major tournaments like the World Cup, this is his second one, and the Euros, he's only lost one game within 90 minutes. And that was against Belgium the first time when he made 8 changes. That was the third game, in the schedule. 4 years ago, was this in the Euros or the World Cup? I can't remember. I think it was the Euros. So you have to understand, he knows this is a tournament cup. So it's not a league. It's two different kinds of tournaments. Do you understand? Like the Premier League or whatever. That's you play home and away. It's based over 38 to 40, depending on the league, games. This is a maximum of 7. So you have to understand points matter. So he plays. He understands that, listen, if we get 1 point out of this second game, we're sitting pretty. And England is. He understood that this puts us in. Listen, US has to win to go through. England has to lose by no more than 4 goals and we go through. So he understands tactically the long game, not the short game. This is what he's been credited for, because he's made the team. Because when he took over, England was a shambles. And if you have a look at it now, they're a cohesive, I think there's good chemistry, and I think there's unity. And a lot of, in a tournament, virtually every player will ever tell you in a World Cup or a UEFA championships, there's so much downtime, and there's no like in our golden generation, you had Man U players would only sit with Man U players, Chelsea players would only sit with Chelsea players, Arsenal players would only sit with Arsenal players. But look at Rio Ferdinand and John Terry. They said this in interviews. They didn't interact. There was so much division within the group. Guess what? All these players now, they get along. You listen to...
Yeah, yes, I think we'll come back to talking about the lineup again. If you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream. We have just 5 likes. We should be doing better than that. I'd appreciate it if you can drop a like on the stream. Hi, Liam Lane. Blessing everyone. Blessing to you too, Mario Minto. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show, brother. Again, hi, Mario. How are you doing? Saying hello to each other. Let me ask you this. Of the 3 games in the group, this is the 3rd one for England. Which of them, even assuming you haven't seen the game against Iran, a game against the US, which of these 3 teams would you have predicted, again, it's going to be tougher for England?
I actually thought the Wales game.
Because the Wales game. So the question I want to ask, Henderson coming in, does that mean he's here for the big games, really?
Because of his experience, I think if this is a 4-2-3-1 coach, I think he is. I think he's put him alongside Rice, and for experience, how to read the game, etc. And I think he's put Bellingham in a number 10. I really do.
So are you saying that him coming in is just to ensure proper protection for this defense here? Because you did say something about his ability to read the game.
Does that make sense?
Because again, to me, it makes sense, really. Having, again, listened to what you just said, Rice isn't the most attacking. Henderson isn't the most attacking. Although, he's got some good shot. He got good shot in him. But the truth remains, 2 of them, this is a more defensive-minded approach. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all defensive-minded players. The attacking-minded players are 1, 2, 3, 4. So nearly half of the team are defenders here, defensively minded, so to speak. So this is not an attacking-minded approach. It could mean 2 things. He's worried about, again, ensuring, because he knows a draw would be good. So he's just being pragmatic enough that, okay, it doesn't matter. We don't really have to win. But at the same time, you could say he's concerned, really. I don't know, but look at the front three men there. I know James. This is Danny James that played for Manchester United, right? Dan James. I know Bell.
Yes.
More, I don't know his game too well. But why would you start two sixes if really Ampadu is the guy playing as a sole six here in a single pivot? It doesn't just make sense. A
Well,
single six for England,
yeah,
a single six for England of either Rice or Henderson will suffice, and then they will have one more player joining the attack. So why play with two sixes? You can say with it on paper, this shouldn't be a close game, really. But
sure.
go ahead.
Well, listen, where did Southgate play? What position? He was a right back, yeah? He was a defender. So by nature, his modus operandi, it's in his DNA, sir, to be cautious, to be defensive. You know, he is pragmatic.
I get your argument. Roger, let me say this quickly. I get your argument. Balance is key to approaching, no matter how good of a team you have, balance is key to approaching every game. If you focus too much on the attacking aspect of the game, you'll be vulnerable defensively. If you focus too much on the defensive aspect of the game, then you'll be toothless going forward. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, you have a look at France 4 years ago, sir. What did they do? They basically were so defensive orientated. They soaked up so much pressure, and they scored on the break because of who I regard as the best player on the planet currently, Mbappe. You know, he was a huge contributor. Do you understand? So they actually they are taking the Italian ethos of the 70s and 80s, and I think this is what I've said in our discussions before,
and even 90s with Arrigo Sacchi.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, you know, and I really think that Southgate, his approach, his mentality, being defensive, because this is tournament football. You know, it's a very short, it's maximum of 7 games, and historically, teams have shown that the people that the countries or the teams that succeed have this approach where you concede little and you score occasionally. That's it. This is why, and I understand England has a lot of talent also. If he had taken an England team in the 80s, he probably wouldn't be this successful. I get that. You do need the players.
Yeah.
But I think his approach.
Yeah, go ahead.
I personally like his approach. It may not be pretty, you know, it's not sexy, but it's successful.
Yeah, it doesn't really have to be pretty, but I get it's not about being pretty. I'll come back with you to something else I want us to talk. Best of luck in the game later. Oh, like Mario is in the United States too, so hopefully we'll win that one. I think it's going to be tied, but I believe we'll win.
Great game, Coach.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I'm going to be watching them both. Coach, it's Iran, not Iran.
yeah.
Oh, I miss my people. This just reminds me how much I miss people like you and the beautiful game and all that.
That is funny.
Oh my goodness, Iran, not Iran.
Yeah, it's actually.
Do you hear that journalist in the pre-match press?
Yeah.
I did not. I miss you guys, brother. Seriously. I'm serious about that. Okay. Henderson in for his physicality. I think he has. To me, maybe I haven't been paying good attention. I don't see him as physical. I see him as should I say? I don't know if the word feisty suffices to describe.
Sure, no, he's a feisty one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's feisty. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to say really physical because he doesn't have the build to always come on top. It depends on who he's fighting against. But again, he's physical to a certain measure. But overall, to me, his feistiness. Bellingham has been solid. It's Kami. Nice to see you again, brother. If you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
Coach, what do you think of Bellingham?
I think he's a fine player overall, but he's been solid to say, just like it's Kami said. But the truth remains, if you're going to weigh or measure the hype with what we've heard and how much that Dortmund are quoting from the display against the display we've seen him put up at the World Cup. We can say he's not worth that much money, but he's a fine player anyway. Maybe it could come down to the demands of the manager, because I've always argued these how a player plays. That again comes down to what the demands of the manager, of the coach of that particular
Sure.
team, and that's the
true.
reason why you see certain players be awful under one manager and then be the best player in the world under another manager. So the whole thing comes down to the demands of the manager of that club. So if the way he's played, I don't think he's asserted himself like we've seen the way he does at Dortmund, and that may well come down to a more cautious approach by what's his name, Gareth Southgate. So, but do I think he's a 10? No, I don't know much about his creative ability. I think if anybody is a 10 there, you could say of all the players on this pitch, if I'm being honest, you could say the better creator here should be Kane, because Kane is also a creator as much as he's a finisher. He's actually playing the 10 role, really. That his ability to drop deep, participate in the play. Yeah, go ahead.
He comes way too deep for my liking. You know,
yeah.
I think he's a very good. Out of the 32 teams in this competition, nations, I think he would start in 30 of them. I'm talking about Kane. You know, I think most. You know, but my criticism of him is he needs to be in the box more. He comes too deep to get the ball, and I understand he's a very good creator. He understands link up, like that pass he did to Sterling, amazing. Intuitive, you know. He understands. He passed the ball where he would have wanted the ball had he been in the box. I get that, but I think his finishing is sublime, and therefore he should be in the box. That's
but then again, here's the thing. I like him to be as dynamic as it is. Just like
he is dynamic.
At Tottenham, where if again, you focus on stopping him, he drops it, and Son goes in, and he's capable of creating again. Orchestrating, you could say, defense splitting passes. Kane is that good. And I have to say my apologies to Jude Bellingham, because from looking at his record here, you can say he's a fine creator, but if you're looking at it from the England perspective, he's had 0 assists for England. Even again, is this again England? Yeah, again.
He scored an opening goal, though, coach. You know?
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, I know. I forgot. It was a good run into the box, well-calculated run into the box, even though he was playing as a deep line midfielder. But
very Frank Lampard-esque, I believe.
Yeah, but here's this. What I want to say is, again, to me, given numbers-wise, I'm going to check Foden's numbers to say who's more suitable of playing in that 10 role before going by 4-2-3-1 structure. Maybe it will be Foden. But look at his Borussia Dortmund numbers.
I agree.
Yeah. He has, again, for 2022, 2023 so far, just 15 games into it, he has 2 assists, 3 goals. So his output is actually awesome. 21, 22, 32 matches, 3 goals, more assists. So this shows to me, this high number here, the more assists shows he's a creator too. But let's compare his numbers to Foden.
Sure, and coach, he's the ripe old age of 19. You know?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so he's still young.
An old man, coach. He's a codger. He's an old man.
Let's look at Foden here. Even for England, World Cup qualifiers, Foden had 2 assists.
Yeah.
So this number here alone, for Foden to have had 4 assists for England, to me, if anything, I'd say he's probably the number 10, because I'm sure Gareth Southgate himself will be well aware of that number.
He's actually you have a look, especially with Kane, they change. They're very dynamic. They're very fluid in that regard. Mm-hmm. But Foden has not been ever a number 10 for England, sadly. You know, and you know, I defend Southgate when I believe personally, and this is purely subjective, of course, that I believe it's warranted. But I personally believe if I was the England manager, and I would have you as my assistant, of course, sir. Mm-hmm. I would put him as a number 10 coach. He could run. He could be our Pirlo.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If we're being honest here, this is Foden's numbers in terms of assists.
Sure.
So, but he played in 21-22. Foden played 4 more games because he's played 32, 5 assists.
Sure.
So you can
And
say
then,
Foden
but
have
how
better
many of
numbers
them
in
did he
terms of.
start though? This is out of these starts. This is what I always complain. I think they should have it in brackets. How many games he started? A lot of the time, early in
But
his
you see,
career.
they're comparing them both, but
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are independent. We're the ones
Sure.
comparing them. But go ahead.
Yeah, when I look at in amount of games played, I think I would like these people that put up statistics, on web pages, whether it's BBC or wherever. I would like to have them how many games in parentheses did they start or substitutes, because that's a big factor. Because I think Bellingham has been starting a lot in Germany, but I believe until this year, maybe half of last year, I think Foden was quite often a substitute. A lot of his appearances came off the bench. So those numbers are a little bit deceptive, if you understand what I'm saying, sir. So may I ask you a question? If you were
Yeah, go ahead.
coach, where would you put Foden? Would you play Foden, and B, where would you put him?
At 10. Foden for me would start all England game.
Yes, as a number 10,
Seriously.
yeah?
Yeah. The 10
Yeah.
or on the flanks as a winger. But here's the thing, there's nobody better equipped to play the 10 role. You can say even Jack Grealish isn't equipped to play. No, he's not the best passer of the ball. He's just a good dribbler overall.
Yeah, and he's not.
Sorry?
No, he does cross. He's quite good at crossing. He's no.
Yeah, but again, when you're talking about, if we're talking about a traditional 10 role,
sure, no, I get it.
Usually positioned centrally.
Yeah, of course.
And a traditional 10 role should be capable of orchestrating defense, splitting passes.
Yes, I agree with you. And listen, to me, Foden is England's most technically gifted individual I've seen for I can't remember how long. I think he's that good. As I said, if you look at him play, regardless of his shirt, you would think, oh, he's probably Italian or Spanish or Portuguese.
Oh yeah, you said that too during our collaboration.
He's not your prototypical English player historically. He's that good. I'm not putting down England. I'm just being honest. I believe he's one in a generation. He's a generational player, I believe. I think if he stays healthy in 10, 15 years' time, we'll have this conversation and say, do you remember in 2022 when he was just coming on board? I think he's going to excel. I think he's going to be, quote unquote, a great player for England and for his respective teams if he stays healthy. And I hate this term great because it's so often used. I say this.
Yeah, and just quickly, it's Kami. I hope you're doing well. And here's a question for you from Raul Asanwa. He says, who will play full 90 minutes of Maguire? Or Maguire will most likely finish the game.
For sure.
Yeah. Most likely, no matter. You don't change defenders like that. Except if England starts a game and again before 68 minutes and England is up like 4-0. Sure. And he may well say, okay, let me rest Maguire and start some other defender here. You never know. And Maguire he has clean slate so far, no yellow card. So there's no concern of him
not one English player has a yellow card thus far.
Yeah, so exactly. So there's no risk there. Except if let's say 50 to 60 minutes, England is winning convincingly, and he just decides to rest him because you could say he's one of the players he trusts the most. Clearly, he's the player he trusts the most. For Kane Kane hasn't scored, right?
No. 2 assists,
he hasn't. I don't think he'd take him off. He wants him to get off.
Will. I think, depending on the score, I think he comes off between 60 and 70 minutes, assuming he's healthy,
Yeah, and you're saying, and Rahul saying, well, thank you so much. I've seen, again, I got a notification saying you're subscribed to the channel. I appreciate that. Again, tell other people about the channel. We'll cover football from, again, a global perspective. The club, every club, again, no matter where the clubs are, so long as we can find a panel knowledgeable of that particular league, we'd cover them. Again, thank you so much for subscribing. So, so you're saying he'd take him off because the truth remains his value for this England team is not just about scoring goals because he's actually proven, even though he's not a midfielder, he's actually proven to be the guy that helps England control a game. I've observed that myself.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
I
again.
agree.
Yeah, we've established that he's dynamic, but he drops so deep. Even defensively, he contributes. And again, when what's come to us for England, he drops to be the guy to be able to play out of tight spaces, even better than the midfielders the England has. That's how good
Yeah.
Kane is. So, but I still think that's a chance.
I think
He's not going to take him off
many-
because he wants him to get off the mark. Because the sooner that happens,
Sure.
the better it will be for England.
But he needs fresh legs. You know, listen, our next game, assuming there is a next game, will be on the weekend. I can't remember, is it Saturday or Sunday? He looks leggy already. I think, you know, even if he hasn't scored hypothetically, let's say the 70th minute, I think he has to come off because he needs him fresh for the next game, which will matter. Does that make sense?
So you don't think he will prioritize him getting off the mark over, again, resting him?
Oh, Southgate? No. I think you're right. Southgate will do that. I personally wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. But you're right. I can see Southgate playing him to the 100th minute.
Yeah, because he wants him to get off the mark.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So may I ask you a question? In the squad for England, how many world-class players do we have? I think we only have 2. 0? Is it 0? Why are you laughing? You're killing me, coach.
Wait. Are you really asking me this question?
Yes, I am, sir. Order in court. I think we only have Kane and Foden.
Oh my goodness. Proven. If we're talking about proven world-class players here,
Well, then that's only
I
one.
have to look. Okay, let me look at the bench too. Again, I have my definition of world-class, really.
Sure. What is
You know what?
world-class?
I'm not gonna answer this question. I won't.
Okay, so that when I say world-class, that means you take.
But if I say just take me pick one world-class player, only one, I'll pick Kane. Definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely, Kane is definitely a world-class player. No denying that. Again,
He would start in about 30 other teams in this competition. I think Foden would start in quite a few of the other teams also.
He will.
If Foden was Spanish.
Foden is not far-fetched from being a world-class player.
Yeah. Do you think right now, if he had a French passport, do you think France would play him? I think so.
Yeah, here's the thing. Let me say this. No disrespect to every other English player.
No. I'm not.
After Harry Kane, the most intelligent footballing player in England squad is Phil Foden.
Yeah, I agree. As I said, I actually think he's England's most technically gifted player. Probably.
And again, he's intelligent too. He's not just technically gifted, he's intelligent too.
And he's been fortuitous enough to be coached for the last 5-6 years under Pep, who is one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the world. That doesn't hurt, you know. I'm pretty sure Pep would make me look good. I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah, let me quickly catch up with the chat again. We'll come back. We have a few minutes round off. I'm not sure except if I get anybody with me. If not, I'll just go sit down in my living room and enjoy the game. All the same, we haven't streamed for a while, so many people didn't know. But again, the numbers are good.
Coach, are you going to watch both games simultaneously or not?
At the same time, one on my small device. If I do it here, I can watch again. I can watch them too. If I do it in my studio, but usually it's late if you're streaming it from the internet. But if I watch it on the TV, it'd be better to have one on the big screen, one on my tablet. Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do. Yeah,
I watch them, but because both are very important to me. Who will play again? We've answered that question again. Good question there. I like it. Again, please like and subscribe if you haven't. When you enter, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. Today, I've helped Liam Lane complete his sentence. Again, thank you, Liam, for always reminding people that I appreciate that. And to my brother DJ, DJ, it's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. He says again, big up Kachila, Roja, and everyone in the chat. Portugal, again, a point going through. Come on, England. I am sure we will beat Wales tonight. it sounds easy, but it's never gonna. It's not gonna be easy. Like I said, even though I haven't watched too much of the games, but I know the history between the two nations. Again, it's more like a derby, and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game too. And more importantly, DJ, I hope you're doing well. So let's look at this. If you're saying it's a 4-3-3, Roger,
Yeah, well, I
it
think it's
will
a
be
4-2-3-1 personally.
okay. So, but you're saying BBC saying it's a 4-3-3? Is that wasn't that what you
Yeah,
said?
let's see. Let's see if they've changed, because they change within half an hour. Let me double check again, sir. No, they're still saying 4-3-3. They've got Henderson,
So
Rice, and
again,
Bellingham
but
in the
what
midfield.
which of them makes more sense to you, really?
4-2-3-1.
Because no, this doesn't. If what with who has a number 10? That's the question. Even again, Bellingham, I'm not. I don't know. Again, he has again 8 assists. He had 8 assists in 2021, 22, but I'm not sure what type of chances those were. Where he created them from, whether they were all from the flanks, whether it was just him squaring the ball to somehow. But which makes more sense to you? Wouldn't it be more feasible to have Harry Kane flanked by Foden and Rashford, while
Yes.
essentially you have why again in the three here you have who would be central? Probably Rice central or Henderson. I think Henderson
No.
Rice central. In the 4-3-3 structure, how would you restructure this?
Oh, sure. Yeah, in a 4-3-3, a Rice would be central.
Rice would be central, Henderson to the right,
Yeah.
and Bellingham to the
You know
left.
what?
Then
You know what this could be. You know what this could be again. It could be a 4-1-4-1, which is basically, you've got
a
your back four,
4-1
and
of
then
who?
then it could be a back four, and then the one would be Rice, and then you've got the 4-1 up top again. Does that make sense? Because this is what
Yeah,
this is
it
what
does.
in the Iran game. That's what it was. It was a 4-1-4-1 basically. So it's very fluid. But I see this as a 4-2-3-1, which is what we played, and that could morph into a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-4-1. It depends on possession and who the opponent is. I expect England to have the majority of possession. I expect them
Yeah,
to
they
sit deep
will.
and go on the
Again,
break.
this
Yeah.
is how many midfielders, how many traditional midfielders do they have here? You could count Foden into it. 1, 2, 3, 4 traditional midfielders plus Kane's capability of dropping deep and supporting the midfield. That makes it again even more. I think they probably overload
Yes.
Ampadu here as a single six.
Yes.
Wow, that's really interesting, but I'm not sure where the creativity is going to come. Really, maybe Foden definitely. He has you could say again he would do well. But overall, just quickly, what type of game do you expect?
Or
And what do you think the
it could
outcome will
even
be?
be a 4-4-2. Where you have Kane and Rashford up top. It could even
A
they
four
could even
here, and
morph.
then the four in the midfield would be
Yeah.
definitely Henderson and Rice. Who joins them? Okay,
Well,
with Foden and Bellingham,
yeah,
then
4-4-2, and with what's his name, Rashford and Kane up top. It could be that. I can see that very easily, actually.
So here we have again. It's not going to be easy, but I believe we will beat Wales. My prediction is 2-1. Was that my prediction too? I think I predicted 2-1
You
too.
said 2-0. Was
Was
it
that
2-0?
what it said? Okay, you saw it right.
Yeah, 2-1 or 2-0. I forget now.
I think probably 2-0.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coach. I forgot. I've looked at so many of them.
Yeah, I think.
I'd be
Go
very
ahead.
surprised. I'd be surprised if I'm not being arrogant. I'm just being honest. I'd be surprised if England concede. Obviously there could be a penalty or whatever, but I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with England's defense. Now, have we been playing, shall we say, massive teams that are very offensive minded? No, we haven't. Even though Iran's number 9, he did very well. Tamimi, I still think that was a BS call about a penalty, because I've watched other games where it's been worth shirt pulling and they haven't given it. So it's purely subjective. Do you understand? But technically, it is a penalty. But I've seen much worse not given throughout this competition. So we've only conceded one goal from open play. So I'm actually surprised and pleasantly surprised, considering we're playing a back four. This bothered me, you know. I think we're more secure with the back three, but I think I don't know what he's going to do. I suspect he'll use a back three going forward. If he doesn't, and we continue to be, should we say, tight at the back, then this bodes well for England, because then this will allow England to use their more, shall we say, creative players. I'm actually
Here's the thing: England can actually do better in terms of having more. Surprisingly, he doesn't. It doesn't look like he respects. He values Grealish that much.
Which I'm shocked, because I thought it would be Grealish and Foden starting with Kane. That's what I thought Southgate would choose, but I like Rashford. So
yeah, let me catch up with the chat outcome. I really want us to look at again. We still have about 4 more minutes to round up. I'd like us to look at the United States lineup before we call it a day. See what structure they're going with. Feel it a bit well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. If you're just joining, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I don't think, again, we're not going to do the watch along today because I wasn't prepared for it. I've recovered fully and strong again and ready to go. But again, Blue Morning Show comes back soon. What day? I'm not sure. Tomorrow, if there's anything serious to talk about, then we can start the Blue Morning Show tomorrow again. And again, my brother DJ Saf says, yeah, we should. Yep. Phil Foden and Harry Kane to score. Foden, I think, he's capable of scoring, but it depends on where he's deployed. But we'll see as the game starts. I will see. Kane, I want him to get off the mark. He's a player I love so much. Jude Bellingham also informed may score again today. It depends on the manager's demand and where he's deployed, really. But if it's deployed in the 10th position, he may well get a goal. And I have, again, Rahul, someone said, does TAA have any chance to come on and assist Kane, Rashford, Foden? Yep. Trent Alexander-Arnold, again, as much as he's not the best defender in the world, I think he's a fine creator, even though he's deployed on the flank. He's a wing-back player.
Oh, yeah.
He's a fine creator. We whips in those crosses with so much pace that all you need to do is just touch it. Set your head, the ball will touch your head, and it will go into the net. Again, that makes him special. I'm not sure how ready he is. I think if he was ready, okay, he's not listed as injured. The only issue here is Ben White. What do you think? Do you think Alexander Trent comes on at any time?
I really hope so. If we're up by 2 or 3 goals, I think he'll bring him on the 60th minute plus. I don't see why not. Trent is a highly gifted individual.
He's not the best. He's not the best defensively, but in terms of offensive contributions, he's the best in England. One of the best. Let me just say one of the best, because I know there's an argument between for him and Reece James. I'm not going to go into that, but I know he's a fine creator anytime, any day. So sure. Go ahead with what you were saying quickly. We have just about 3 minutes, 2 minutes to round up, really, or 3 minutes. Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right about that. I would say he has defensive liabilities, Trent Alexander, but going forward, he's sublime. He's one of the best. But I would prefer Reece, of course. I'm not just saying that.
Let's not go into preferences right now. This is not a Chelsea channel.
No. Let's say Reece was.
No, but I know. I use my preference too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So I want to ask you, what do you think of the Iran game? US.
Iran versus the US game. Just quickly, I'll come back to that. We have about 2 more minutes to round up. Good question there, Rahul. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Phil, I think we won at least 2 goals. Okay, 2-0 was my prediction. Big up Pichila. And big up to Just Viola, the queen of the house. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Lateness is greatness. We'll round up in a bit, but at least you joined. Hi, everyone in the chat. Again, DJ, what does DJ saying? Big up, I could just saying hello. Let me see. That game, it's really an interesting one. It's not going to be easy. You could say it's a game of football, but a game of football spiced up by political differences between the two countries. And no matter how you see it, politics still again, you could say it adds to the feistiness of the game. I'm sure the Iranian players are well acquainted with the issues between the two countries. I'm sure the U.S. Players are well acquainted with the issues between the two countries. Plus, this is a must-win game for both teams. If Iran wins, they're through. If U.S. draws, they're out.
Yes, that's why. So
that probably makes it the most interesting game in the group, really.
Oh yes, it has so many facets to it, Coach. Geopolitically and obviously soccer-wise, it's a must-win or go home.
Soccer doesn't sound good when you say it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. If it's a draw, neither team goes. Well, I think who goes through? Iran goes through. America has to win. The US have to win. Otherwise, they're out.
That is nothing. Nothing else. Nothing else. A win is what is needed for the US to go through again to the next round. And Iran needs a win too. A draw.
No, they need a draw. Yeah.
Yeah. So all they need is a draw. A draw, and they will be at 4 points.
Yes, they would be second.
So. Yeah, so the only thing that will make a difference if Wales beat England by around how many goals? Around 4 goals or so.
Yeah, 4, minimum of 4 net.
Yeah.
Then then Wales goes through. If the US and Iran draw, if not, Wales doesn't go through.
Yeah, and for me, let's look at again this quickly. I think the Iranians, I wouldn't say they're the best defensively, but again, they've shown that they can actually defend.
Yeah. I don't think they showed up against England.
They didn't. Probably that we can, like I say, they have a history of not starting well in the World Cup. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Plus, the issues back home didn't help matters too. Some of them were barely singing their country's national anthem. But that's, by the way.
What's your prediction, Coach?
Ew.
Oof, come on. The $64,000.
I think the US will beat them 2-1. US will concede. And surprisingly, Iran is going to score first.
Wow, you go for it. I was thinking it's either going to be 1-1 or 2-1 to US.
No, I think US will win. US will come out on top. Although I'm still concerned, you could say, the lack of experience on the US side, except in the defense, really.
Sure.
Yeah. Pulisic is probably the most experienced. If you go beyond the defensive area, Pulisic is the most experienced. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only thing I doubt about the US is thus far, they haven't been clinical.
Yeah, which you can say come down to, again, that exuberance, that too much in a hurry to do stuff.
Yeah. It's the lack of experience.
The same issue Canada had. Canada, you could say they've been one of the most entertaining teams in the competition, but yet they can't put the ball in the back of the net.
They've been an amazing team, Coach.
So again, as long as they're together, next World Cup, if they make it, they don't want to be in their group.
Yeah, they're the host, they're co-hosts.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna be there. So I wasn't paying attention. You better not be in their group, really, because that group in 4 years' time. What they're going to be
they're very entertaining.
Yeah.
They're very entertaining, Coach.
Yeah, so quickly as I'm saying, I'm looking forward to watching Adam again. Adam, so what a player he is. He single-handedly outplayed Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice again against England. Let's see how well he does today. So that's by the way, let's catch up and call it a day and let's go watch it again because we're not doing the watch-along today. Just quickly here again, Pulisic to score for USA. I am sure, again, US will win. They were all lucky against us. Yep, that's just the truth. Pulisic, again, linked to Arsenal, Manchester United, and Newcastle today. Interesting to see what happens there. Again, I will be surprised if we sell him to any of these teams, especially Arsenal. I think he stays, and I also heard that he's looking forward to staying at the club. So that's, by the way, guys, let's go watch the game. And thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And Roger, I can't thank you enough for keeping me, again, for joining. I know you enjoy it, but still, I want to thank you, brother. I appreciate
pleasure,
that.
Sir. Enjoy the game.
See you guys next time. God bless. Yeah, God bless us all. And bye. If there's any need to do a match review, I'll let you know, Roger, and I'll schedule it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.